biggest change in your life in the last 10 years since getting to where you're at now?
Probably the birth of my son, and really getting to know my kids. You know, really kind of getting my head out of my backside, and doing a lot of growing up. And that's a cliche that I just hate to use, you know. But in a lot of ways, you know, you're handed this gift, and a lot of people squander it. You know, I definitely spent the first couple of years squandering this, and it took some hellish nightmares and a couple of reality checks to kind of snap me out of it. So the sobering thing for me was realizing that there are more people than myself that I have to worry about, you know. So that really kind of got me into gear. You know, I started taking care of myself. I started to really pay attention to the world around me, and really started setting things up not only for my future but for my children's future. And that's really where it comes down to. You know, I mean, I have a daughter who's going to be 16, and it's crazy to me. She's going to be 17 in October, and that hurts my head more than it will ever, you know, anybody will ever understand. So, but her college is taken care of. She is taken care of, and it's all because I get to do this. So I put more responsibility on this than a lot of people realize, and I fight for it every day.
You, from reading the internet and seeing what's going on, you seem to be very busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
How do you focus and stay focused and channel that energy into projects?
It's pretty easy, man. I mean, I only do the stuff that I want to do, you know? I mean, so for me, there's a vibrancy, there's a vitality to it that keeps me interested, you know? The problem I had in the past, that I would get involved in projects that I wasn't really vested in, you know? And I'd kind of train off and kind of go, like, walk away from a lot of stuff. So when I got to this point in my life, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm only going to do stuff that I want to do, you know? I wanted to open a studio in Des Moines. I've done that, and I'm going to start bringing acts in and producing out of Des Moines. You know, I want to write a book. I'm going to write a book. There's just a host of different things that I'm going to do, and it's because I am passionate about them. I know a lot of people just take on projects because they want the cash, and that is so second rate. It is so just, I mean, low rent, you know. It's such a terrible way to waste your talent. I don't want to waste my talent because there's a lot of luck that comes in with this as well. And, you know, I above anybody else understand that, and I'm not going to take that for granted ever.
What's been your proudest moment in the last 10 years of Slipknot?
So far, probably the #1 album. That was something that, you know, you hope for, and you never allow yourself too much rope to hang yourself with, as far as like expecting it. But when we were done recording this album, I made a very bold statement, and I said, this is going to be our very first #1 album. Kind of half joking, kind of half being braggadocious, but it came true, and it still caught me off guard. It still stunned me, and that's something that no one can ever take away from us. You know, we had the #1 album. We've had the heaviest #1 album ever, and all we've done is lay more road down for other bands to follow in our footsteps who are as heavy as we are, and that's a great accomplishment.
What's next do you see for Slipknot?
Touring. We have a special edition 10th anniversary version of our album that's coming out. The very first album, the first Slipknot album, that's got a bunch of stuff in it I didn't even realize we had. I was like, God, we got this. A new DVD that is all footage from '99 and 2000, which should be very interesting for people to watch. I just watched a bit of it. Oh my God. We are out of our minds, man. I can't believe we made it, to be honest. We were so out of our gourds. But, you know, we're going to tour up until the end of October. and then probably call it a day on this tour cycle, and then we'll go off and do our other things for a couple of years, and then start, you know, getting the fixings ready for the next one.
Is it important that people know that you're still based in Iowa, that you're still a part of the scene in Iowa?
I don't know if it's important. You know, it's not something that I put out there, you know. I think people, they tote that as a way to go, hey, look at me, you know, like, hey, look at me, I've got this big house. Hey, look at me, I never left where I came from, you know. I stopped leading with my mouth a long time ago, and I started just doing things, you know. I started just backing up what I was saying, and that's been 100 times more gratifying, you know. I still live primarily in Iowa. I have a place in LA, but I live really, you know, 9 times out of the year in Iowa, and it's where my family lives. It's where my kids are, you know, were born. All my friends live there. It's where I get the most peace, and it's where I find the most energy to do this. And it's one of the best places on the planet.
Is there anything that you want to say to people, that you want to get across to people, that maybe you haven't been asked or you think is important for people to know about maybe you, the band, or your
I guess the only thing that I would say would be, no one on this planet will ever understand how much work it took to get here. No one except the people in this band will ever understand it, because we really had to work 6 times harder than any other band. We had so many strikes against us right out of the gate. We were an anomaly, you know, and yet we never settled for anything less than the absolute best that we could be. We constantly pushed ourselves. We were constantly touring. We were constantly working, constantly pushing this band to be the very best, the very cutting edge, the very last word in music. And we've damn near accomplished that. And for bands who think that this is easy, or that this was handed to us, let me just say, with a very emphatic sense of attitude, you don't know what you're talking about.